Let me ask you something. How many culture projects have you seen that start really strong and then after a few weeks just fizzle out? Energy drops, people get busy, and the culture project that was so important starts to fall down that list of priorities. Hi, I'm Sharon, the Culture Catalyst, and I help leaders like you turn values into actions and culture into results. This is the fifth and final step in my culture shift blueprint. This final step is so important and it matters so much. Step number 5 of my culture shift blueprint is action plan. This is where you lock in the work with clarity, ownership, and accountability. So let's make a start. Let's face it, culture change doesn't fail for a lack of really good ideas. In fact, most of the time, the people in your business and in your teams will know exactly what the problems are. And guess what? They'll have loads of ideas to overcome those problems. The change doesn't happen because of a lack of follow through. The action plan step ensures that everything that you've built gets embedded into real trackable commitment. So that means everybody knows what they're doing, by when, and really importantly, how it connects to the bigger picture for your business. I'm going to share with you some essential tools that make the action planning phase really effective. The first tool is a culture shift sprint. You need to start with this. Think of it as like a 90-day plan. This is going to be your roadmap to success. I want you to pick 3 culture priorities in your business. Then define action steps for each of those priorities. Assign owners for those actions and agree on a sensible timeline. Really importantly, have a discussion about how you know you will have got there. You need to agree how things will be measured. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. It's a really important phrase to remember with this. Imperfect action beats procrastination every single day. This is going to help you keep energy high and it's going to show your team that there's visible movement that's happening fast. The second tool I'm going to give you is I want you to draw up a who, what, when grid. Every single culture commitment that you've identified in your 90-day plan needs the following: a clear owner, your who, a defined action, the what, and a target timeline, the when. It sounds really basic, but this is where most culture action plans fall down. No one owns it, timelines slip, and the change loses momentum. Let me tell you this, if it's everyone's job, it becomes no one's job. The third thing that's going to be really useful to you is if you introduce team scorecards. These are light touch behavioral trackers that measure shifts, not just KPIs. You need to be asking your team on a regular basis, are we living our values? Yes or no? If it's a yes, well, what example have you seen? Tell me a little bit more about how you know this. Did we role model behavior that we said we would this week or today or whatever time frame you want to look into? And again, if the answer is yes, brilliant. Who was the person that you saw role modeling? What was it that they did that made you think that? If it's not, what's holding us back? What is in the way of us behaving in this different way? And where did we fall short? Really importantly, what did we learn from it? You need to make this kind of reflection part of your business rhythm. You can ask it daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, just regularly. But it can't just be a one-off survey. This is going to help you build accountability. And it's also going to help you have real conversations in real time about the challenges your teams are facing. The fourth tool is that I want you to celebrate and adjust. It's super important to recognize when things have been achieved, when you've delivered that action, when things have gone right. And the best action plans evolve over time. So I want you to proactively build in time to celebrate the wins in your business. I want you to really scan and look for what's working. And you need to course correct for when it isn't working. What that means in practice is sharing those micro successes right across your team. Give those shout outs and let people know what's going well. Amplify what's gaining traction and be really honest about what you think is falling flat. Culture work is agile. It doesn't always have to be, or it shouldn't be, this big, huge transformation program that's 2 to 3 years long with multiple work streams, steering groups, working groups, interdependencies, complexity. It doesn't have to be that. You won't get it perfect and don't expect to. You can keep it alive, and it's your job to keep breathing life into this. So, after spending 25 years doing this kind of work, both as a role inside an organization and as a consultant, I have come across some common pitfalls time and time again, and I want to share them with you so that you don't fall into the same trap. The first pitfall is business leaders make their plan way too big. It's this big, lofty, ambitious change that simply isn't going to fly, not that particular business at that particular time anyway. The other thing is they forget to assign owners. So nobody has accountability. And if nobody is owning it, nothing's going to happen. So things don't change and people get frustrated. They don't check on progress regularly. It's kind of like kick it off and expect things to happen. And things in the real world don't work like that. You need to regularly check in and make sure things are changing and progressing in the way that you want them to. And the fundamental thing that people get wrong is they treat the culture shift plan and their business plan as two separate things. When you and I know that one supports the other. Your business plan and your culture action plan should not sit in isolation. Culture action plan should sit inside of your business rhythm, and it certainly shouldn't be sat on a shelf in the HR department. Please remember that the culture shift blueprint and the process that we're following is not linear. It's more iterative and circular. You will want to keep coming back, repeating steps, reviewing steps, refining steps. That is all part of the shift process. So once you've drawn up your 90-day action plan, have a think about what the next 90 days after that looks like. It's really good practice to regularly review that plan. I would hope that in every 90 days you're revisiting what your cultural blockers are, where your alignment gaps are, what are your buy-in risks, who's not on board with this yet, what behaviour is shifting and how are you embedding things. And finally, the plan itself. That needs reviewing on a regular basis. Constantly tweak it and finesse it as you go. You are not building a one-time change. You are building a continuous advantage. So now that we've gone through the 5 steps of the Culture Shift Blueprint and we're in our final phase, action plan, I wanted to recap this particular step in a little bit more detail so that you have all the component parts to deliver this inside your business. So let's do a quick recap. You need to create yourself a 90-day sprint. This should identify the actions, identify the owners, and identify the timelines. To make sure that is crystal clear across your business, I want you to populate a who, what, and when grid. Everybody who is working on this inside your business has absolute clarity over who is doing what exactly they're doing, and when they're meant to be doing it by. Start introducing really simple team scorecards. Ask your team for regular feedback on the things that are going to mean you're shifting your culture. And regularly celebrate and review and refine your plan. It sounds really simple and straightforward, but being really purposeful about this is going to make the difference between your culture being a success or your culture shift failing miserably. And that is what turns culture from a project into a business that achieves real success. If you want the full Culture Shift Blueprint program, then I've left a link in the bio where you can get the 1-hour webinar with all of the tools, all of the templates, and all of the real life examples. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe and share this with anybody else that you think might find it useful. Thanks so much for listening.